Martin Lucas Smith, Cambridge Cycling Campaign. Pavement parking causes problems, obviously, for pedestrians, and this is very much the case also in the terraced streets of Romsey. Thankfully, Petersfield, I don't think it's got any, but I'm starting to hear of cases where people are giving up their cars thanks to the very successful and excellent car club policy which the committee has been pursuing. But would councillors, particularly those restanding at the elections coming up, support calls by residents to replace a car park space in front of their house with cycle parking? At the moment, because I think there's about 5 cycle parking spaces in the entire of Romsey compared to what probably 500-600 car parking spaces. At the moment, many residents leave their bikes outside their house, which also blocks the pavement because the car is taking the other half of the pavement. So in summary, would councillors support conversion of car parking spaces to cycle parking, particularly where residents have requested them? Thank you.
There's only one person present standing for re-election this time round, as it's a county year, but if others wish to comment as well. But Councillor McGuinness.
I just wanted to give a quick response to that I have been approached by residents actually just in the last week. So within Romsey, 2 sets of residents in Thoday Street. Hopefully it's come to residents' attention that the environmental improvement rounds, so there's a little pot of money that will be in each area. I think I'm right in saying, Chair, that for the East area it's something around 53,000. And I have actually already talked to officers where requests have come in within Thoday Street at the moment for exactly that 2 sets of residents have talked about giving up their vehicles. Obviously in terrace streets, for them, they're bringing their bikes into their hallways at the moment. You have a couple of kids and you're trying to have 4 bikes in your hallway. I know myself, because that has happened certainly in our household. I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of a front garden. Some of these terrace streets, it is a real problem. So I have already sort of put in and talked to officers and I'm supportive of more cycle parking, as has been stated. Can I just at this point, and what I'm trying to get across to residents in Romsey and hopefully elsewhere, is if you do have suggestions for environmental improvements such as this, you can log into EIP projects at cambridge.gov.uk and actually put in your own ideas at present, which will be coming up for review. Thank you.
Councillor Saunders. Thanks, Chair. Just a personal interest, as a member of the Cambridge Cycling Club, I just want to put that on the record. I've also had this proposal come to me, and I think it's a very interesting idea. Obviously, the problem is to balance the needs of the residents who've got cars, the residents who've got bikes, and of course the residents who've got both. And there is quite a need to do this. But I do think it would be well worth trialling this. I think we should be a very good idea to select one of the volunteers' areas and actually do it and see what happens. And that'll give us a genuine idea how it works. We do know that at certain times of the day and there's quite a pressure on cars, and I am one of those people who's got rid of his car and joined the car club, so I'm a cyclist-only person. But getting rid of my car didn't help the rest of the people who've got cars very much. It's not a very high proportion. But I will say that a space going over to the car club does save quite a lot of cars if people do get rid of their cars, and that does release a lot of space. So that is part of a strategy, I think, is the car club, yes. But I think also trying this, taking one space for a few spaces for bicycles, especially in those areas where people don't have access to back gardens, which is, Thoday is a very good example of that, would be well worth trying. Councillor Board, do you want to chip in?
Thank you, Chair. I'm a member of the Cambridge Cycling Campaign as well, and a keen cyclist, and I also have been approached by the same 2 people. And it's interesting, and one of the applications, it's from a family I know, and they use a cargo bike. It's their only mode of transport, and they take their kids to school, and they can't fit it down the alleyway in the back, and it's very inconvenient, so I just support giving them a cycle parking bay. The second one is a member of the public who would prefer to be able to park his bike outside, but it's not a cargo bike. And so what I was planning to do was I talked to officers, was planning to consult with the people in this surrounding area on what to do there. I think, as Councillor Saunders says, we need to weigh up different needs. So any solution has to be a balanced one. I think, having talked to lots of residents about this over the years, I don't think most cyclists do want cycle racks on their doorstep. Certainly, I know that I would not want to leave my bike locked up on Argyle Street overnight. I'd much rather take it around into my garden or into my hall, because just so many bikes get stolen. It being attached to a rack isn't a guarantee that it won't be. And the honest truth is that a majority of cyclists I have talked to have been of that view. So personally, I think we need to deliver much more cycle parking near pubs, in public places, where there is a big demand for that. The second thing that I need to point out is that in Romsey there's actually just a very low, there's no off-street parking almost, there's a very low availability of parking. It's Victorian terraced housing, so there's actually, I mean, the width of one car per house if there are no other obstacles, so actually it's less than one car per house. And I think, being as a card-carrying member of this Cambridge cycling campaign, I nevertheless concede that there are families who, people with mobility problems, also families where public transport can't deliver all of their transport needs. There are some people, look, who just need cars, and I don't think we need to stigmatise that. We should be delivering the public transport that enables more of them to be moving away from the private motor car. So look, there are competing needs. There will be some cases where, yes, we should introduce cycle racks, and particularly near the shops and so on, and otherwise I'll treat it on a case-by-case basis. What I don't support is if sort of 300 cyclists on Thoday Street and Catherine Street and Ross Street said, look, sorry, we don't drive, we want cycle racks. I would not support unilaterally taking away sort of 25% of the existing parking capacity. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Just to clarify, I don't think that's what's being asked for at all. I mean I specifically put in here that there was remote residents who actually requested, and it's very clear that many people are already leaving their bikes outside their houses and are comfortable with that, but that at the moment means that you're blocking the pavement. And on the question of balance, I mean, let's remember on most of the streets at the moment, the balance is 100 car parking spaces, 0 cycle parking. So I would say that we haven't quite got balance here, 100 to 0. But, yeah, hopefully we can get down to 100 to 1 maybe, or 2. Thanks.